Hey everyone, welcome to my show. Be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch for all my exclusive content. Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday and happy Arc. Well, I can't really say happy Arc launch day. It's an Arc launch day. I don't know that I could say it's a happy Arc launch day because, for like the fourth month in a row, events or things are launching that were announced and don't work and screwed something else up. And so it's just, situation normal, all effed up as usual. But what is going on, everybody? What's up, Falcon? Nevin, FaZe, Lloydson, Les is here, Joe's here, and probably a few more people lurking right there. Les, you won a battle pass from Lube tonight. Well, congratulations on that. That'll save you $20. And more importantly, it's $20 less that's going into Scopely's pocket because they don't deserve any money at this point. They really don't. With just how inconsistent and just god awful they are at actually releasing new content. They like to brag and they like to talk all the time about how, oh, we're the only gaming company out there that puts out new content every month. Well, it doesn't count if half of the shit is broken. You can't brag about it. We're the only gaming company putting out new content on a monthly basis if every month half of your crap that you put out doesn't work. So stop it. Either stop putting out as much content as you are and only put out the stuff that works, or put out less content. That whole quality over quantity thing? Maybe you were onto something a year ago when you said, hey, that's going to be our new plan going forward because we don't want to release stuff that doesn't work. Yeah, except you keep releasing stuff month after month that doesn't work. No cursing. Well, I will. You know what? I don't even know if I'm going to do that. Well, I'll give you a couple minutes of it, but you know what? Then let's talk about a good thing that happened. Let's start with a good thing. We'll Oreo this a little bit. We'll talk about a good thing. We'll talk about a lot of bad things, and then maybe we'll circle back and see if we can find something else that's a good thing. So let's start with good thing number one that came out this month. They have a new player initiative. If you are a new player, when you make your first purchase, you get this wonderful gift. Let me go find the screenshot of it. There we go. This is their new initiative that they just added. You get this wonderful little gift chest that contains within it a free unlock of Lieutenant Picard, as well as an absolute pittance of materials. Even a level 10 player making this purchase, these resource amounts are laughable. But hey, if you bought anything, you buy a $20 battle pass. Hey, congratulations, here's your Lieutenant Picard. You buy the baby jellyfish for $20 or whatever they're charging for it. Hey, great, here's Lieutenant Picard. That's for making your first purchase. Now, if you've ever made a purchase in the game, ever, in the entire time you've had your account, they allowed you to also get this redemption. So it wasn't strictly for new players. So if you've ever spent $10 on a flash pass or whatever the bare minimum is you can spend, $5 on the second builder or whatever it was, right? You bought something from their store. You got a gift chest today with Lieutenant Picard in it. So a lot of people got him for free. Now, most of those people are above level 35, so he doesn't do anything for them. But at least they can cross him off the list of officers that they have grayed out down here at the bottom. That's one less guy, right? That's one less guy who's down here at the bottom all grayed out. You now have Lieutenant Picard. You can get a few extra levels for it as well. Might help you with your mess hall, right? But if you've never made a purchase, you're 100% free to play. You did not get this gift chest. So you will have to find alternative solutions to sourcing Lieutenant Picard if and when they ever become available. So that's a somewhat good thing that they added him. Now, of course, on top of that comes the, well, hey, I mean, if you want to upgrade Lieutenant Picard, well, here you can right here. You can buy this upgrade pack, which has enough to tier him up to tier 2, and that'll only cost you $20 more. So whatever you already bought, you got him unlocked. Now you can tier him up. What does tiering him up do? Well, he is giving you... What is he giving? What is he doing? What's he do? Let's go look at him. But again, he only works on hostiles. His officer ability here. Oh, 10% to the shield health. That's his officer ability. His captain's ability. Did they change him? Or did they just not have the disclaimer? Oh, there we go. I got to scroll down. I didn't scroll down. My fault. I didn't scroll down. Okay. So he gives you an apex barrier here that helps, mitigate damage and things like that. Really helps new players level up. However, here's the caveat. Works against hostiles level 35 and below, which basically means by the time you're about Ops 28 or so, you're probably punching up and hitting things above level 35. Once you get that level 28 ship unlocked, that Saladin or Centurion or whatever, you're probably hitting most of the things you're going to be hitting on a regular basis are going to be above level 35. But hey, for a nice little head start to help you accelerate through those early levels of the game, give you a solid crew while you're still working to unlock Pike, and you don't have to just rely on using like the cadets, which is kind of embarrassing when you're still in like the low 20s and you don't have Pike unlocked and you're still using the cadet crew for your hostile grinding. Here you go. Now you've got an alternative who's actually pretty helpful for that. So, yep, absolutely. They did it just so they could pitch us the $20 pack? Well, yeah, I mean, maybe. maybe that's what it was. But certainly was a little bit of a, at least, people who were complaining, like, how am I going to source this guy? Why wasn't there sourcing for him? Even though he doesn't work and I'm well above his ops level, you know, I want to have every officer. I don't like having, officers down here. I need the extra officer levels to keep moving my mess hall up, right? Or whatever the case is. So uh, they listened and they found a way to get him out there in the hands of more people. So you can still use him Ops 50 plus if you're hitting level 35 and under. There's no reason you would ever hit that low, Ben. No reason you would ever hit that low. You or shouldn't be hitting that low. Why would you hit that low if you're that level? That's just a big waste of time. But hey, I guess you could use Picard then. So we'll give him that for a funsies, a good job getting him out there in the hands of more players. Uh, Also, if you haven't noticed, your command center button got moved. It's no longer up here at the top. It is now over here on the bottom right, and it's showing you the icon of whatever fleet commander you have slotted into your first seat. This is part of the new expansion where they released Lorca today. A lot of people have bought him. A lot of people who bought him are unhappy with him because this Lorca's fist ability, which it won't show me. Let's go to his skill tree. Where is it? Lorca's Fist, down here. Increases base weapon damage for a short amount of time for all your ships. And you're getting a nice big boost for all your ships, depending on how far you've leveled this up. But again, it is the bottom ability in his combat tree, so you got to level up the whole tree first, which means you got to acquire a whole lot of skill points for him, which isn't easy because other than leveling him up, the only other way to get skill points for Lorca, kind of like they are for Sloan, the only other way to get them is to buy them. And that's a little on the expensive side. Also, from what I'm hearing, This little buff that you activate for a short time is like a minute and a half. So now, maybe one of these other skills over here makes it work longer. I don't know. But that's what I'm hearing from people, is that they're saying, like, yeah, I'm spending hundreds of dollars to get him leveled up, to get to this ability, to get it even unlocked, to then get it skilled up. And all it really does is it gives me like a minute and a half of extra damage. And then it's got an 8-hour cooldown before I can use it again. So, what did I spend hundreds of dollars on? What did I spend hundreds of dollars on? Nevin says duration is 67 seconds and it's 7 hours and 45 minutes until it's usable again. Okay, well, that's close enough. I rounded up, I guess. So, they managed to make cloaking look appealing by comparison. I mean, cloaking does last longer, right? I mean, a Titan buff lasts longer and doesn't have an 8-hour cooldown. It doesn't give you, what, 2,000, 5,000 plus damage. And obviously, this thing, if you level it up, I mean, it's got big numbers attached to it, right? Starts at 2,000%, which seems like a big number on paper, but when you start thinking about all the other things that add to weapon damage, 2,000% is a noticeable difference for most players. The super whales who are in the mid 60s and above, who are most likely the ones to buy this and get this unlocked quickly, probably not going to notice as big of a difference. But even if you get it starting getting skilled up in here, and you're talking by level 10, it's a 10,000% weapon damage bonus. Like, yeah, that's a huge number that actually might have some significance in doing things, whether you're doing Q's trials or, armadas or whatever the case is, and you're just going to rattle off a bunch of them in a minute and a half, at least get 2 or 3 done. You can have some significant value there from it. But is it worth the hundreds or thousands of dollars that people are spending today to unlock it? My opinion, no, but to each their own. You spend what you want to spend on, so. All right, let me scroll back. It looks like we got some first-time chatters here. S. Wilson, welcome on into the channel. Thank you for being here. Scopely has joked lately with their features. Been that way for about 6 months now. Been progressively just going downhill, and it's just been one catastrophe after another. Janobi, thank you very much for following yesterday. Appreciate that. You're level 11. You've been watching all my beginner's guides. Awesome. Thank you very much for checking those out. Hopefully they're helpful. The whole tutorial series should let you move up pretty quickly into the 30s or 40s without spending any money and get there in 6 to 12 months. Awesome. Quality over quantity. Doesn't the NX01 ability last longer? About the same, slightly longer, probably. Yeah. Bat says if you were a 40-something and had a loop that really kicked your butt daily, Lorca's perfect for that type of player. Sure, right? If you're going to go out and you're having to struggle killing Gorn, right? You can't do your Thursday event because you can't kill any Gorn. If you triggered Lorca and you got to go kill 4 or 5 Gorn to complete your event, so you could work on getting your Eviscerator, like that could be helpful. Or Silent Hostiles or something like that could be helpful in helping you, complete a certain loop that maybe you've been avoiding, maybe you've had some troubles with. But for the amount of money you would spend to get him and get that ability and get it unlocked, because it's fairly high up in the tree, right? I don't know what skill level is required for it. Hang on. It's down here at the bottom. Is it 50? Command Center only has to be 25. Okay. You just have to get the commander to rank 9. So you're spending a bunch of XP, but that's universal. So that's the same stuff you already have. That's not separate. You would have to use skill points to get through all of this stuff. So, okay, it could absolutely help certain players who are stuck in certain little in-between areas, If you're in your mid-40s and you're between, you're 44 or 45, or even you got to 46, but you haven't finished the building loop yet to get to the shipyard to get your better ship built, or you're still working on, whatever faction credits to get it. Yes, he could be the thing that helps you get over the hump. Conversely, you could argue that the hundreds of dollars you're going to spend buying him and leveling him up and unlocking him, maybe you could spend on other packs and also just progress your game to get to the point where then you wouldn't need him. Maybe. I don't know. All that money for 90 seconds, not worth it. Mm-hmm. No skills are needed before. Does it not have an unlock? You can jump right to that one? Oh, that's true. It's not part of a chain. I didn't even actually stop and look at him. You could, if you had your building at this level, just level up the commander and just jump right to this ability. That's a good thing to point out. I missed that the first time around because I'm not used to seeing combat trees like that or skill trees like that. His actually do not have very many prerequisites at all. Most of his stuff you can kind of just jump around. Okay, okay, that's a little better. That got a little bit better. Then if you can jump right to this skill, assuming your building is at least level 25, then it gets a little bit better. Then you don't have to level him up as much. You don't have to skill him up. I mean, you still have to get him, promote him to rank 9. But that's not too far in the process. Shouldn't require too much actual stuff here. Do I have anybody who's like not rank 9? Yeah, rank 9 would only be like level 45. So that's not promoting somebody too far. I think even Sloan, my Sloan's rank 15. Yeah, so, okay. So yeah, you wouldn't have to take him too far to actually be able to get that. So that's a little bit better. That makes him look a little more useful. Okay. Now again, you gain access to an ability that you're probably only using maybe twice a day. You log on in the morning and you're like, I'm going to go hit my freebooters, which, you know what, maybe now I can punch up and I can just go kill. I could only kill 50s before. Now I can just use Lorca's ability and go hit 53s. I don't know why you would need to do that, but maybe you would need to do that for something. And that'll take care of that. Or let me go do my one loop. Let me go do my silent hostiles and just get them done with. Okay, cool. I got them killed. And then I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do work stuff, grown up adulting. And then when I come home from work in 8 hours, I can use his ability again for another minute and a half to go kill some other stuff. And then that's it. I'm done. Situationally effective, but again, if it's not as big of a cost investment, it's basically the equivalent of just hitting a really high level exocomp. Because exocomps, G5 exocomps only do like 350%, 300% to armadas, 500% if you got the good one. This is 2,000%. Doesn't last as long. Those last an hour, whereas his ability lasts a little over a minute. So maybe you can start an armada, pop his, ability, and then use the speed up to kill a second armada as soon as that one's finished. So yeah, there's a little bit there, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if obviously, again, he's using the same skill experience as everybody else. So if you've been accumulating stuff for a while, you probably have a drastic surplus of it because we haven't had a Fleet Commander upgrade event in 4 to 6 months. So I know a lot of people are always just sitting on those materials waiting for an event. So you could just skill him up the basic way by promoting him through here and then get some points for doing that. You would just go info, promote, yay. And then what do we do? Hey, we can get some more stuff here. Let's spend some of this stuff and get, yay, we got captain's points. I don't even know what I'm doing this for, but sure, why not? I got 7 million of this stuff, and There we go. My 7 of 9 is now done. I have her at max level reached, so I should be able to do anything I want, except of course the things that require you to have your building higher or rare skill points. Although Lorca doesn't require any rare skill points, which is also another positive of the Lorca upgrade process. There are still command center building requirements on him, but they're not as high as other fleet commanders. A lot of these people have things in the 50s that are kind of holding people back from finishing off some of these abilities. It's like I don't even know what I would want to. Some PvP bonuses in here. If you assimilate, if you attack players on nodes, I don't even know what I would want to upgrade some of this stuff. More damage in PvP, but again, we're using rares. What about over here? What do we got over here? Cost efficiency for surveys. Yeah, let's upgrade some miners. Let's make them cheaper to upgrade. I don't know why I haven't done this one already, but there, we'll make our miners more efficient. It's been over 9 months since the last one. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, Wally, it's down here now. They moved it down here. I didn't see it at first either. Does this plot of the arc seem familiar? You know, like a certain Marvel movie about a certain multiverse? We'll get into that later, I guess. How can you active the ability? I'm guessing it would be right here. If Lorca has to be in the first chair, and then you'd have this little button right here that I guess you would hit, which only works if they're in the first chair. Could I look at Lorca's other abilities? They're extremely strong. Sure, why not? So let's see what he's got. Giving you more shields. That's a good one. He's always on. Giving you more hull. Well, I mean, we've got a bunch of stuff already adding to those, so diminishing returns on both of those two. What else is always on here? Officer stat bonus. Again, something else we already have a lot being added into. Isolytic defense for all your ships. Now that one's pretty good. Getting some more isolytic defense. That one's pretty good because there's not a lot of other stuff that adds to that value. Apex barrier does not work against armadas, invading entities, or during station defenses. So it's a slight upgrade, small amount to Apex barrier. But if it works against PvE hostiles, that can certainly be a little helpful there to reduce some damage. Even if it just is, 2 or 3%, that's a benefit. Warp speed, More cargo, An extra little raw mining bonus. We've got a few of those things already too. Some more piercing stats. Depending on the type of hostile you're hitting. Lowers your weapon's warm-up time during station defense if they have been increased and in other cannot go below original value. Okay, so this basically negates what the prime or ROM, because that's what it is, right? They delay your weapons fire, so this undoes that. Because when you sell abilities to people, eventually you're going to get around to selling them something that cancels what you sold them already. So, yep. And then what do we got over here? A little more efficiency for research, a little more repair cost efficiency. Okay. Forbidden tech. Upgrades got a little cheaper there. Okay. Artifact got a little cheaper. These aren't bad. These are some decent abilities. And he's always going to be in your slot 1, so you won't have to worry about, doing too much of this stuff. So he certainly combines some of the elements of different fleet commanders. Probably wouldn't make sense necessarily to always stack him with other people because you're not going to see as big of a benefit. But if you're like, well, I need Kirk for this and I need Spock for this, and it's like, well, Lorca's got some of the same abilities, so you're kind of basically making a combo card, and he's taken a little bit of each of them. So he's not terrible. He's not terrible there. Isolytic damage bonus. That's always fun, especially when you start, doing Cascade. At the beginning of each round of combat, when your opponent has a status effect applied. Ooh, status effects. We'll get to those in a minute because they got a bonus this month, right? You're boosting your critical hit chance for 1 round. So if you hit them with Burning, or you hit them with Hull Breach, or Assimilate, now you're upping your critical hit chance 5, 10, 15% for that round. Not a bad little benefit there, too. I look forward to unlocking him in 6 to 12 months. Plugster, welcome to the channel. It all feels a little bit meh. Yeah, it's not like it's anything we haven't seen before with some of his stuff. Some of his abilities are the same as things that we already have access to. The numbers might be a little tweaked here and there, a little higher, a little lower, or, he's got, like I said, some of the abilities that you might see on Kirk and a couple abilities you might see on Spock or something like that. So now he's saving you a fleet commander slot, so I don't need to have them both. I could just have Lorca in the first chair, and then I could either pick one of them and kind of double up a little bit. Again, you're going to get diminishing returns on the value. Or I could be like, well, now I don't really need either of them. Now I can move on and put someone like Sloane or like Janeway or something like that in that 3rd slot or 4th slot or whatever the case is. So we'll have to wait and see. We don't know how or when we're going to get him. They put something in the patch notes. Let's go look at that real quick. That's very vague in general, very generic. Where's our patch notes? Read more. Fleet Commander update. While not available day 1 of the arc, sourcing will be made available for Lorca. Doesn't say when. Just says that sourcing will be made available for Lorca. And the team is looking into the sourcing for previously released fleet commanders. So while we have sourcing for Kirk, Spock, Locutus, and 7 of 9 are all available in the Incursion store. Locutus is also available in the Borg events that we get in between arcs. He's in that event store as well. Sloane only comes currently through the Section 31 faction store. And Janeway has no sourcing other than spending money. So whether they're going to add additional sourcing for Janeway, maybe they'll add an extra sourcing for Sloane to speed that up a little bit, or maybe make people not have to spend their faction credits so they can get other things that they want out of that store instead. Excuse me. We'll just have to wait and see. But the sourcing for the 100 shards for him, other than buying him, not available currently, and there will be a path released soon, is about as specific as they ever get with anything, so your guess is as good as mine. Why, aloha, Dr. Iron Chef. Thank you for the 100 bits, and thank you, Lube, for the 100 bits as well, which has actually started a hype train here in our channel today. Good evening, Well, good evening, Lube. Thank you for staying up a few extra minutes to stop in. Um, and, well, it's still, well, it's afternoon now for you, Dr. Iron Chef. So hopefully you got some sleep last night. I saw you guys were up till server launch time. So I do have to go back and watch the rest of that to find out what you guys did for 4 hours. Well, three and a half. So Madrak says we got 2 to 3 Lorca in the mission line. So they are technically not wrong. Well, that doesn't really count, though. How are you going to get the rest of them? And if you bought them, what are you going to do with those extra ones? Well, that just seems like a wasted gift, right? If you bought Lorca and then you go do the missions and then they give you like 2 Lorca shards, that kind of feels like a wasted gift. I think you convert them, right? They get converted into like Fleet Commander XP or something. Whoa! Thank you, Lord Hollywood, giving out 5 gifted subs today. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Nefludio, Controller Player 31, Neither Garcia, Osama, and I Love Unicorns all just got gifted subs. I didn't even know those people were here. So I guess they're just watching, lurking in the shadows, and they all just got gifted subs. So thank you. Hopefully they didn't just come in from a raid and never stuck around and just got gifted subs to the channel. But maybe this will make them come back. Rusty also throwing in 100 bits. Thank you again for that. There's also a half unlock path. Well, there you go. You could buy half of Lorca, take the other couple that you get from the mission, and then wait for the rest of the path. I guess you could do that too. Sure. Rusty, you're looking forward to meeting me in Tennessee? Uh-oh. Do I have to bring my bodyguard? You're like, I'm looking forward to meeting you, sucker. I love Scopely and everything they do, and I'm tired of you talking shit on them all the time. Maybe. Who knows? Oh, no. And Lube's going to throw in his sub because he totally let that lapse. Because you haven't been here in a little while. That's what it is. You broke your streak. You lost your streak. You got to start over. Barkman's redeeming no cursing again? Okay, well, there goes the fun. There goes all the fun. Bat's wondering, something else weird you noticed. Why isn't the main character in the storyline one of the officers this month? I haven't done any of the storylines yet, so I can't comment on that. I don't know what you're referencing there. Maybe we'll start a storyline because there ain't much to do event-wise. But before we go any further, we talked about this was sort of like a good adjustment, right? Lorca's a good beneficial thing. We'll have to wait to see what his permanent sourcing is, but he's a good change. And Picard was kind of a free gift. So that was a good thing as long as you spent money at some point in your career. We're going to switch gears for a second. We got to talk about a bad thing. You know, we got to flip-flop here. Madrox is mad at me for not having an extra cursing option. There you go. That's it. We're just going to go, we're not going to be PG-13. We're just going to go full rated R superstar over here. Okay. But Plugster's throwing in 5 gifted subs as well. Thank you very much for that. Heavy Metal Mike, Webster Sponge, Dragon U2 Death, K9 Tooth, and Devious all just got subs to the channel. And that means we have finished level 2. We're through level 3 now, I think. We're starting level 4, which might be a new channel record. I'm not sure how far we've gotten. All-time record is 20% through level 5. Okay, so we're getting close. We got 4 minutes. Guess we'll see what happens there. All right, let's talk about the bad thing. The bad thing The hugely, horribly bad thing revolves around the mirror universe. And yes, I saw it, but just follow with me for a second. The bad thing that happened was the Enterprise, the ISS Enterprisees that we just spent time last week doing a video on about how, players who don't have the NSEA protector, if you're below like level 46, you can't really kill them. You need like a 90 million strength ship to really even have a chance. They changed the spawn times on them this morning. They nuked them completely. They were like, yeah, they were broken and they were never meant to work that way. We never said anything about that, by the way. We never told you that they were broken. They weren't going to spawn that way. We just let you believe that that was the way that they were supposed to work. Um, Bullshit. Yep, I did it. I don't care. They went and they changed them and they made them 25-minute respawn timers. And then everybody and their mother lost their mind and said, oh, hell no. This is complete gibberish. And I was actually so mad when I saw that happened today. I didn't know what I was going to talk about tonight. I didn't even know if I wanted to play the game and stream the game tonight. I was going to leave that up to you guys. Because I'm like, I am so furious and fed up with them doing this type of crap that I don't want to talk about their game. Because I'm just going to yell and scream. Which some of you love when I do, and that was going to be the poll. Do you want me to play a different game tonight, or do you want me to do like an hour and a half long rant about how mad I am about how terrible they are for all of this stuff they keep doing? And then, at 5 o'clock, after a day's worth of other people ranting on Discord all day, they went, all right, hang on a second. You know what? We need to walk this one back a little bit. So, thanks to your feedback, we are reducing the spawn times for the Enterprise E-Hostiles. And so instead of being the 25-minute respawn timers, they will be sometime between 2.5 to 9 minutes that they will respawn. Which means potentially, if it's 2.5 minutes, if you get lucky with a couple of them, because I guess it's going to be random, you could get 5 or 6 in a run. It could be as much as 9 minutes, which would mean if you kill one right away and it takes 9 minutes to respawn, maybe you get 2 more before your timer kicks you out. But again, the thing with them is that they only spawn in 2 or 3 different systems. Your Trillium A ones only spawn in 2 or 3 systems. Your Trillium D ones only spawn. And even your ones up here, I think, only spawn in 2 or 3 systems. So they're still fairly limited. You've got timers. You don't know exactly when somebody killed the last one. So even if you get there, like, am I halfway through the timer? Did someone just kill one 5 seconds ago and I am waiting a full 9 minutes? So, yeah, you don't know. And, of course, because they only spawn in 2 or 3 systems, are there other people sitting there waiting? Like, is somebody in that system already? Is someone sitting in Deneb and they just killed one? And I don't know how long ago they did it. So now I've got to come in there and either hope it spawns on my side of the system and I can see it before them, or my ship is faster than theirs because I've got more impulse boosts because I bought Lorca, or whatever the case is, or you've got the right speed crew. Which then circles me back to something that goes back to the beginning of the mirror universe. What was the fundamental principle for how the mirror universe was created and set up? The fundamental principle. What did they want to create with the mirror universe? There it is, Lloydson. Lloydson has the answer, the magic word. We heard it over and over from Mr. Tiger during his ARC launch. I wanted to design something that would create tension. I wanted people to feel that tension of what it's like to be out there in space and Star Trek and have this limited time, and that's why you have no protected cargo, so you're always sitting there looking over your shoulder wondering if somebody's going to kill you or whatnot. And all that went right out the window in about the first 5 minutes because of ROE that most servers have, which is like, no, this is a token system. We don't kill people in token systems. Don't be a douche. And there went all of that tension that they had. So all you really had was the timer. And then they gave you a way to make the timer longer. and there just went all the tension that they wanted to create. Well, how did they get a little bit of that back? Well, now they changed the timer on the Enterprise E's. So maybe now, some people, is it worth killing somebody over previously to get them out of your system? No. But if you're worried about them taking your Enterprise E hostile, well, maybe there's a chance somebody might want to kill you. Probably not, because again, it still falls as an ROE issue. But for the people who don't care about that, or for servers who opted not to protect the mirror universe and do still actively PvP in it, now we've added back a little bit of that tension for people who might be hunting those ISS enterprises. So that's probably another side effect there. Goldini asked earlier, the non-protectors can't kill him. You need the earliest ones here are 225 million approximately power. You need at least about a 90 million power ship to be able to do it. We did a whole video on that last week. If you're Ops 46 and you have a rare, Pylum or whatever like that, you're talking about like a tier 9, tier 10. You'd have to level that thing up to get it up into the 80s or 90s, and then you can kill like one. If you have like a Titan buff or something, maybe you get 2 or 3, depending on, how crewing and officers and skill levels and things like that. But you weren't able to kill a lot of them, which is what drove people to want to get the NSCA Protector quickly. Might have bought half unlocks, might have really prioritized, doing the events to get the eye patches, to get the ship unlocked, because they wanted to get in there and get these things, because that was a way to get that liquid trillium to really source their refineries. And I guess Scopely realized they were giving out way too much liquid Trillium D, and people were just easily coming in here every day and just claiming all of their refineries and just going right here and being like, oh yeah, I don't really have to choose now. I've got 50,000 of this stuff. I'll just buy it all. And they're like, oh no, we don't want them doing that. That's way too good. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of our loop. So they knocked it down a peg. And you can still get some. So it's still a helper, which I'm sure is what it was intended to be from the beginning. But as usual, they coded something poorly. We took advantage of their poor job, and now they're changing it and basically punishing us for engaging in the content that they created poorly to begin with. If you had actually bothered to properly test stuff, or actually bothered to properly code stuff from the beginning, or even if you did it wrong and you announced on day one, hey guys, we've noticed that the ISS enterprises are respawning faster than intended. As soon as we can figure out how to fix it, we'll be making an adjustment to this to slow down their respawn rate. You're being transparent. You're being honest with your audience. This is not going to stay this way. But to do it after the month is ended, and then you're going to come back and be like, oh yeah, that's been broken since day one. We just didn't tell you it was broken. No. That's horseshit. So there you go. So there's a bad thing. It ended up better than it was, because what they put out this morning was god-awful, and it was just like, screw you guys. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Now they walked it back to at least a happy medium, a happy middle ground, where neither side is really happy with the outcome, because they wanted it to be a lot more and we wanted it to be what it was and what we've been used to for the last month. But I guess that's a good compromise, right? A good compromise is when neither side is really happy. So communication was awful. Yes. If they had just been upfront and said, hey, I'm sure what their thought process was. I'm just going to take a guess. I'm going to walk a mile in their shoes for a second. Their thought process was, hey, let's not tell everybody that the ISS Enterprise E's are respawning every every 3 kills, every 4 kills, because people are just going to spend all their time camping and they're just going to stockpile 50,000, 100,000 liquid trillium. And we don't want to bring attention to that, so the people who don't know won't be doing it. And then once we're able to, we'll just fix it. If we tell them today, hey, this is broken and it's not going to stay that way, well, then everybody and their mother, especially when you've got incursion exocomps active, although it's the chest, so that doesn't actually matter. Um, but people are just going to be spending a whole lot of time in those systems, using up all their entry rifts, farming and stockpiling that stuff while they can. And it's going to take months for people to run through all of that stockpile of currency. If we don't tell them about it, make them aware of it, then maybe people won't do it. They'll just assume that, oh, this is just the way this works. I can get this anytime I want. And they won't accumulate such a big stockpile. And then when we change it, they'll be like, oh, well, damn, I don't have a lot. I guess I'll have to buy some packs to get more. It's like, we're never buying packs. We're not buying packs to get more stuff that you keep screwing us out of. It's just not happening. The only people who are buying packs of stuff are people who really want to just progress faster and don't care, or people who are newer to the game and don't quite know how the old carousel works there. So, hmm so most people are in the 140s, 150s at least on your NSEA protectors, and we'll have obviously an invasion coming back in about 2 weeks or so. And then some more people will have the ships unlocked, and everybody else will be pretty close. And I think by the end of September, or first week of October, whenever the second invasion happens again, we'll probably see the majority of players, 40 plus, will have the NSEA protector unlocked. They put up a graphic the other day. It was on the Facebook page. Let me pull up it out so I get the exact numbers. I took a screenshot of it because I wish I could put this up on screen, but nope, that's the wrong button. Here, I don't know if you guys can see that. If I hold my phone like this, if you guys can see, but nah, it's not going to work. All right. 14,544 NSEA protectors were unlocked in the month of August. 14,544, which means that a lot of people, a decent number of people, went ahead and bought the whole ship. Or some people bought half of it and did the grinding through the event store to get the other half. And then the rest of us all went, well, we're already halfway there. These events are coming back fairly quickly. We'll probably have them in a month or two. I'll just save my money and buy them later. So the people who made decisions to buy them early was very likely based on being able to come in here, especially if you were in that mid 40s where you didn't have the ability. My free-to-play account is Ops 48. My Pylum is tier 8 on that account, I think now. Tier 7 or tier 8. And it's like 55 million power. Can't kill one of these ISS enterprises. Don't even come close. Would have to have an NSEA protector to come in here and be able to kill them on that account. Or tier my Pylum up like 2 more tiers, which isn't happening because of ship parts, which is another problem. So, if they went ahead and unlocked it, players made that choice that they were going to have this benefit. They were going to be able to take advantage of some of these things. And to have this changed after the fact definitely feels a little dirty and dishonest. And I understand why those players were rightfully upset this morning. And I saw a lot of them posting on Discord about, oh, I wouldn't have bought the ship. Why did I spend $100 buying this? I want a refund. I want this. This isn't right. Now, that's why they changed the timers a little bit to kind of try and compromise and at least try and give people still some of the value that they were expecting when they acquired their ship. So, Brain Soul says 14,000 times $100 equals $1.5 million. Well, I mean, some people might have paid 50 or whatever for it, so. And then grind out the other half, but yeah, I mean, obviously they made some money off of it for sure. And I agree, obviously, Trek Diva, exactly. People made their buying decisions last month based on this is the path to the ship. This is the timeline to get the ship. I want it now so I can take advantage of these things, or I want to get it sooner. And now to find out that part of that mechanic has already been changed, well, you can still mine with it and you can still do this with it and it's better for that. Yes, but I'm not getting the full value that I was expecting to get because you never told me that you were planning on changing the other half of that mechanic. So, yep, the mining ability and the Enterprise. The mining ability still works and is significantly better and kind of really does cut down on your time in the loop. Being able to also fight the Enterprise, that was also supposed to be a real nice bonus to help you keep up with the refinery and get more items out of it and really make sure you got more value out of this whole loop, which was not a very well received loop. If you look at the feedback on all of the two MU months and the Galaxy Quest month, they've been running like C minus in terms of just overall content the last 3 months. Rev puts out his little surveys and he gives you a little chart of like, hey, here's what the grades have been the last couple of months, and it's consistently been like C minus grades for all of this content. So mm-hmm. Priority is just about increasing profits, Tech Dragon says, and shows with all the missteps they are making. Yep. Yep. Don't forget about the whales who bought all the upgrade packs. Well, you can never figure out exactly where they go. Mm-hmm. Making a Voyager style summon for the ISS Protector. Yep. Moose just calls it bait and switch. What's up, Moose? They win. They got our money. We get the ship and we get the slap in the face. Yeah, I would have preferred to see that timer window like a 3 to 5 minute timer window, or put them in more systems because they are kind of limited in terms of what systems they are in. And if you want to know where they are, you can just go to stfc.space and you can go here and you can go ISS Enterprise and you can see the different power levels. So if we look at the basic ones here, right? These are the two systems that they spawn in. The ones that drop big chunks of Trellium A, they're 224 million power. And these are the two systems you can find them in, although one of those two systems is a hazard system. Deneb right here, or Diban is the other system you can find them in, which is a hazard system, so you can only go here with the protector. Otherwise, you're basically you're dead in 5 seconds, basically. Or 10 seconds, because it's going to take 50% of your hull health, and then 5 seconds later, it's going to take another 50% of your hull health. So, if we look at, the slightly bigger ones, the other level 50s here, these are 460 million. So you're talking about double the power here. These are the ones that drop Trellium D. Well, they're in a couple more systems. They have a little bit more of a spawn rate. They're in 4 different systems. But they're also further out. We're talking about Hoven, which is here. Morska, which is here. City Laga and Eureka. Where are they? Are they up here? Sitalaga is up here, and so is Muriurita. So these are also hazard systems. So without the protector, you really only have two systems with which to fight them in, which is Hoven and Morska right here. But again, if more people are getting the protector, they'll have access to these systems and the hazards. I think you have to do research, maybe to get that done. Haven't looked exactly how that works yet. Actually, I just forget how it works. So that's where those are. And then, of course, if you're talking about, and then there's other higher level ones in the 60s and 70s, but those are, we're talking billions of power now. If you're 2.5 billion power is the level 61. There's a couple systems where those spawn in. But for the lower level players, the real meat and potatoes of the game, you're kind of limited in terms of where you can go, especially if you don't have the ship yet. It's just immune out of the box? Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it was a research you had to do or if it was just like it's the ship's ability. I I knew it, I forgot it, and I realized, well, I'll worry about it when I actually get the ship. But let's just, since for completeness, since we're talking about it, immune to the magnetic minefield hazards. So there you go. Just its special ability that's right there on the ship. So you don't have to worry about all about the hazards. Not even like you have to do any research first to get it. It's just there. So cool. So, any idea why the fleet commander event is only ops 50 to 70? Like, or there's a, you're talking about like why is the bracket 50 to 70 again? Which one are we talking about? Yeah, I would think it's a 51 to 70 bracket here. The SMSs and this SLB that goes along with it. Because this is kind of a static building. I mean, unlocking fleet commanders, most of the people who are in the 60s probably already have them unlocked. And they probably have already upgraded a lot of them. So it's not like there's a huge tactical advantage for them to be gained. If anything, them being in a bracket with people in their 50s still, who might still have skill points and things to actually put places, is kind of detrimental to the people who are 61 and up. Because they've already done a lot of this, and there's a very finite amount of places that you can put this kind of stuff. So, and obviously, people are already spending and putting a lot of stuff in places for sure. But even, Rec is op 70. He probably doesn't have as many places where he can spend these materials because he's already done a lot of this stuff. Sandman here is what, 63? And he's got more. He's got more space. It'd be like if there was an Officer XP event, is kind of the equivalent of it. Well, the guys who are level 70 probably have all of their officers and have already tiered them all up and, promoted them all because they bought them and used them and upgraded them for all of the various events. And, someone who just kind of didn't do all that, well, now they've got the opportunity to play a little catch up here. And all those points that they were hoarding, they can now invest into stuff and actually compete pretty evenly. So this is an event I don't necessarily mind the wider brackets on, because I actually feel like the higher levels are at a bit of a disadvantage in this case. Now, the only slight advantage they might have would be as if they've upgraded their building more, but because then they have, I'm locked out of being able to put stuff in certain spots because my command center isn't 53 or 55 or whatever else you need, so. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a fairly wide bracket, and the rewards for it, I mean, premium mirror dust is always fun. But again, it's not like it's, this is sort of like a heroic style event then, if, or a quantum event, I guess, if it's giving out mirror dust. And they do tend to have wider brackets for those because they want to make it more competitive because they don't want to give out premium mirror dust cheaply. And they've made no, illusions about that one. What's up, Jonix? Welcome on in. Hi, Bel Air. Just catching up, making sure I didn't miss anything else. Madrox only wanted the protector for mining. Okay. I can understand that. Obviously made the mining a lot easier for people in the 40s and 50s. So that was a bad change. Let's go to a slightly good change. It's a new arc. It's a new quarter, basically. It's been a few months. So our recruits got updated. Our Galactic Recruit bundle got updated. Now you have the NX-01 officers have rotated in here. You still have your lower deckers, I think, have always been in here along with your Enterprise E, but now it's your NX-01 and Picard Hugh have rotated in here, and a few officers have rotated out and have moved into the Ultra Recruit bundles, which is where you can now get Jadzia Dax, Hugh, and the Borg Queen, I think are all new, along with a couple of rares. Bashir, both Kiras are now in here. Galinar, Dezok, and Gasa, I think, were also just moved over here and added. So now you've got a little bit more sourcing for some of these officers. Bashir didn't really have any sourcing. He was kind of only through incursion events for a while, and then they changed those. It's hard to remember because we haven't had incursions in so long because they keep being unable to solve their issues with it. So obviously you've got some potential here to source some of these officers. I think Gasa was the one that didn't have any sourcing. Like the Borg Queen and Dezok, you could source through the expansion cubes. Otherwise, it was just all the Borg event store was how you could source, I think, Gasa. One of them. I forget which one it was. So, yeah. So they got some additional sourcing here for these officers. But, as usual, this goes back to a complaint I've been making since October of last year. This Ultra Recruit pack is too big. There are too many officers in it, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, which just keeps watering down the pool, making it harder to get any specific officers upgraded, and makes it a lot more random and at chance, and that it would be a greatly appreciated thing by the players if they would do what they did with Crucible and split this into two separate bundles. Take half the epics, take half the rares, move them to a new bundle. Ultra Recruit 1, Ultra Recruit 2. Let people spend where they want. I mean, your odds of getting them are still really low, but at least you have a slightly more targeted chance because, I mean, now we're sitting here at there's 9 per page, so you're talking about 27, 36, 38 epics. And, if you're getting 6 shards, maybe on average, the chance of getting an officer that you actually want, 1 out of 38 that you get 6 rolls on potentially, 5 to 6 we'll say, because RNG always tends to favor the rares a little bit. Now granted, you might have a shot at a full pull, which would be really helpful to help move things along, that lucky pull, but still And then as far as these guys go, I mean, you're talking about what, like 70 or so? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 63. Yeah, 70. There's 70 rare officers in here now. So if you're trying to get specific rares, especially ones that don't really have good sourcing, Bashir, new people, strike team officers. Is Harrison in here somewhere? I don't think so, right? He's only in the elite recruits. Yeah. Any of your Ferengi, like Kath, who would really be helpful for your PvE grinding. You got a 1 out of 70 chance of pulling the one that you want. So Lex says we should just have them remove the officers that you already have maxed and stop giving out transporter patterns then. I don't think that'll happen. People seem to like the transporter pattern mechanic. So I think they won't change that. But even if we could potentially, again, you're going to keep adding to this over and over again. Every month there's new officers released and you're moving people around. And one of the arguments we always hear is, well, we don't want to keep putting them in the ultra recruits because that pack is getting too big. Well, clearly the answer's sitting right in front of you, and it's been sitting in front of you probably since longer. But I mean, I made the video in October of 23 and said, you just split the pack for Crucible, do it for the ultra recruits. And now you've gone and added probably 15 rares and 7 or 8 epics since then, and just watered things down even further. I think, yeah, the Strange New World people, the Strike Team people all got added in the last year. So all you've done is just compound the problem to make it worse. Maybe now you'll listen and say, hey, we should split these guys into 2 separate bundles. We've got enough. There's enough in there. There's, we can still get 20 epics and 35 rares. So it's not even like people still have like a great chance of getting the officer specifically that they want, but at least it can be a little more targeted. And again, you split them up, right? You put Hugh in one side, or you put La'an in one side, but put, Ortegas and Una in the other one. So it's not like you're just like, oh, I need Battleship Strike Team. I'll just keep buying this pack. It's like, no, we split them up. So if you want the Epic Officer, you buy Pack A. If you're still looking for the rares, you buy Pack B. You can still manipulate people Scopely. Come on. You know how to do it. So, but that was at least a slightly positive change, is that, Hugh got better sourcing, and some other people who didn't have sourcing, they got a path there. And Galactic Recruits, well, now we've got a better option to get some of these NX-01 officers, if you want half of them, over here now in the Galactic Recruit tokens. Look at all the junk officers in there. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of old, outdated officers that people just have no use for. Tasha Yar, Wesley Crusher, some of the TOS people, some of these other people in here, DC, the old officers that people have had maxed for years. Cons group that people only really use now for away team assignments for the most part. There's a lot of people in here that are just sitting there. They're just like, hey, look, transporter patterns. Ready? Let's open one. What do we get? I got 12 officer roll. Oh, I actually got officers I don't have. I got transporter patterns too. But I got 8 officer shards that I didn't actually already have maxed out. Must be my lucky day. So, yeah. I mean, there's a variety of ways they could split it. So, but it needs to get split. And I'll just, casually keep reminding people of that every month or two until it actually happens. Oh, I've gotten those pulls too, Lex. Yep. You hit that button and you're just like, hey, you just got 4,000 transporter patterns. And you're like, well, that was fun. If only I had officers that I still wanted to use transporter patterns on. That would be great. It's like, I guess I'm going to go upgrade Gary Mitchell. All right. So, James is wondering, do I happen to know if treasury content increases if you level up during the treasury event? I don't. I honestly don't know offhand. I don't think it does. Yeah. I think once it's been released, the values are what they are, and if you level up and upgrade, they don't change. And everybody in the chat is all yelling and saying, nope. So, probably right on there. It's not a bad one. Pick Q, who now we have other sourcing for in the Galactic Recruits, in addition to the NX-01 refinery that he's in. And then you've got Mbenga and Sam Kirk, who a lot of people are probably going to be gaining access to next week when they all get the Gorn Eviscerator and get that refinery unlocked. So now seemed like a real good time for them to throw them all in the treasury, right? Give everybody a head start? Or give everybody a bunch of officer shards that they're gonna all be able to source directly later this month? And then it's a research-based pack, so you got a whole lot of dilithium in here, and then your standard assortment of resources, and speed ups down here at the bottom. Not not awful, and especially if you are further away from your eviscerator, or like those officers, or close to unlocking them or tearing them up, that could certainly be something that would benefit you. Would be having said treasury. So it's a little more titanium and dilithium. Okay. BBH wondering what server I'm on. This account is on server 40. Welcome to the channel. Lex thinks the Epic Strange New World officers are just bad anyway. I don't know. I don't really have any of them unlocked, so I haven't really played around with them. I've heard people saying they're good for 60 plus content, but you are a 61 plus player, so I guess if you're not using them, that's not a very good endorsement. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Bat wants to talk about the Galactic Catchup pack. Well, that would require talking about ways to spend money, and we don't like doing that. I mean, this is blatantly a cash grab, right? This little Galactic Catchup pack, wherever it is. Is it new? Is it in here? I don't even know that I... What tab is it even in? Is it down here in Forbidden Tech? No. Do I not even have it? Did they not even give it to me as an option? They're just like, we know you don't spend money. We're not even going to waste our time putting it in your store. It's only for players who haven't spent money in over a year. Oh, so they're trying to lure spenders back in. There you go. Oh, well, hang on. Let me change accounts. Let's see if I can see it on my other account. Let's go to BlueStacks for a second. Maybe I can see it on there. And didn't play for a few months? Oh, well, that would be... So basically, it's the lure you back to the game pack. Or presumably you would have had to come back already and be like, hey, I'm just checking in to see what's going on here. Ooh, I like all the new content. I wish I had done it when it came out. Let me catch up on stuff. Let me spend $100 to get a Gorn Eviscerator and a Ferengi Whip and something else that was in there. The Borg Queen's remains, I think, were in there for the artifact. But to be honest, I feel like if you're looking at like a Venn diagram, that's like the circle within the circle within the circle, and that's really only targeting like maybe less than 1% of the population. Because I don't think Galaxy Quest brought a whole bunch of players back to the game. And I don't think, if it's more than you haven't played for 30 plus days, then all the people who said, hey, we don't like Galaxy Quest, we're just going to take the month off. I don't even know that it's hitting on a lot of them either. Like, how long did you have to be away? Because, of course, again, transparency. They don't tell people, hey, we're putting out this pack, or hey, here's why they see it and you don't. Let's just see if it's in this store on this account. Because this account has never spent money. This is 100% free to play. But now it's not here either. Now it's a $99 pack. So, nope, it's not in this account either. I got plenty of time left on my shield though. Okay, good. All right, we'll worry about that later. So effectively, it was you got a Gorn Eviscerator, a Ferengi Whip, some of the Borg Queen remains, and there were 2 or 3 other things that were in there, like some Latinum and something else, and it was like 100 Syndicate XP maybe, and it was like $100 pack. That was basically, hey, here's some of the bigger pieces of content you may have missed. We put them all into one super bundle that we're just going to sell you for $100, and that'll help you catch up to some of the content you might have missed out on, I guess, was the thought process. As far as the equivalent of value-wise, I mean, the Eviscerator itself is $100. The Ferengi Whip is $50. The Borg Queen Remains was probably a $50 or $100 pack there. So, like, mathematically speaking, if you bought all that stuff separately from Scopely, you would have given them more money. So they gave you a discounted bundle for your benefit. So you could give them only $100. Because obviously you haven't given them any money in a period of time, and they want to change that. So, they're making you an offer you can't refuse. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But that was kind of, trying to sweeten up the honeypot, I guess. So, but again, it's a targeted advertisement. So the majority of us can't see it and can't take advantage of it. And even if, we haven't spent or didn't buy any of that stuff but bought other stuff from them, we don't get that deal. I didn't buy an Eviscerator. I didn't buy a Ferengi Whip. I've given them thousands of dollars, not recently, but maybe I would like to catch up on some of that content. Maybe I would like a big chunk of Syndicate XP and the Borg Queen Remains so I can upgrade that and get more isolytic defense. Is that what she does? Yeah, isolytic damage. Yeah, get a couple levels of this. Get some isolytic damage going. But nope. Targeted, selective, specialty offer. And I have the little stupid icon there, but I have no idea what it's trying to tell me to buy. Right? I have the little icon that would make it seem like I've got a limited edition item in here. But where is it? Where's my limited edition item? Where's my trophy? I don't see 2 LeBarons, Freddy. Do you see 2 LeBarons? I only see 1 LeBaron. Where's your LeBaron, Freddy? 5 people know what that quote's from. So whatever little special bundle that they're throwing in here that I'm supposed to be like, oh look, I've got the shiny little ship thing. I should go try and buy something. There's a special going on. Why don't I have... What's my special? The Picard upgrade? That's my special? You gave me a free Picard, and now you want me to spend $20 to upgrade an officer I can't use? Right on top of that, Rose. So, the more money you give them, the more they hate you. Emotional damage for sure. It is a Tom Green quote. It's from one of Tom's movies back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Timmy, your Ops 54, totally free to play. Your treasury only gives you 3-star materials, so most things it's pay to advance. Yes, if you give them no money, your treasury is absolute garbage and remains garbage. And the simple solution to make your treasuries better is to just buy like a $20 battle pass once or twice. Just to get. But then again, you're no longer free to play. And you're also rewarding their bad behavior. So it is what it is there. Samo popping in, redeeming a hydrate. Cheers. Ben's asking, when do I become whale status? I believe it's 10,000 in a 12-month period. I think is what gets you into VIP status. It might be 25,000. I don't know. I think that's where it was, but it might be less than that now, as they don't have as many players hitting those numbers as they were a year or two ago. They might have lowered the metrics a little bit, but I don't know specifically where that threshold is, because I'm not there and I'm never going to get there. So Ryan wants to know. Oh, by the way, Ryan, congrats. I think you won a battle pass earlier from Lube too, didn't you? Playing marbles. So congrats on that. If you get 2 of the 49.99 unlocks of Lorca, does that mean you scam Scopely out of a penny? Yes, because technically it is limit 2. You would be giving them $99.98, and you would get your 100 Lorca shards. Now, here's the downside to that. That penny that you're scamming them out of is probably going to cost you multiphasics and other materials, because you get 17,000 multiphasics and skill points and stuff in the $100 pack. So for that 1 penny that you're saving for Pride, you get 2,000 less multiphasics and you don't get any of the skill points. So Iron Chef said it's 3,000 a month for 3 consecutive months. He would probably know better than I would, so there you go. What do you do with VIP status when you get there? You get invited to a separate VIP chat room where you get to complain about all the things that you think are broken and unfair in the game, and you have your own separate community manager who only monitors that little room there. So you basically get a faster response of them telling you, we'll look into that and get back to you, um, as opposed to being in the general chat where there's thousands of people saying, hey, this is wrong and this sucks, and they're like, yeah, we'll look into that and get back to you. Or sometimes they just keep scrolling right by and they never even get to see your post. Because they value your opinion and your money, you get your own little separate room where your complaints are acknowledged on a more regular basis. Whether they actually change anything or not, well, that's a different story altogether. So, Willie Wink, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in tonight. All right. We've just been slogging on through stuff. Let's finish up this upgrade for this building here, because I forgot to build the new building before starting my command center upgrade here. Krusty says they didn't invite you in until you quit spending money. Oh, well, there you go. All right, so we took that to 51. Let's look at our new building here. This is our Nova Squadron. And when you build it, and every time you level it up, you get a big chunk of these Nova Squadron particles, which are used to unlock and upgrade Nova Squadron research nodes. Get more by upgrading the building. Boost your status effects, hull breach, burning, morale by unlocking the Nova Squadron building. Upgrade and get free access to the exclusive research tree that unchains the best combat buffs based on status effects. Strategize like the elite cadets of Starfleet Academy. Was that Nova Squadron? I thought that was Red Squadron. That were the elite cadets of Starfleet Academy. And then, I don't know, whatever the gift chest I guess had that in it, gave us a couple of levels to upgrade. So I can get this thing up to level 4. Okay, so we got up to level 4. That gave me a small little boost to shield health, which is diminishing returns, special material building cost efficiency. So this is your non-traditional buildings. This is stuff like your armory, your mess hall, your fleet command center. They all get a little bit cheaper to upgrade. Weapon damage bonus. Well, see, we don't need Lorca in his 2,000% because we're getting a weapon damage bonus of 25% right here. And then this is the research material that you're getting for upgrading it as well. Now, as you level this stuff up, let's see just how high this thing can go. Take it all up to level 50. You're looking at a 1,600% shield health bonus, a 50% efficiency bonus, and a 766% weapon damage bonus. You're a third of the way to that Lorca ability at tier 1. Nova was TNG, Red Squad was DS9. Gotcha. I thought Nog was in DS9. Okay. But after Wesley Crusher and his little shuttle accident, that was a Nova Squadron thing? Okay. Oh. There's a news update? Oh, this is just this actually getting posted in game. Okay. Now, Nova Squadron. We've got its own little research tree. Okay. That can now be found. Is it in the actual research tab with everything else? Do we have a new tab in here? We do. It's called the Star Path. Making a little Culver's Starburst here. Okay. And here are your 9 new abilities. Isolytic damage while your opponent has burning. That's a good one. Isolytic damage if you have morale. And here's one if you give them hull breach. So if you apply one of those buffs to them, awesome. You're doing more isolytic damage. These will scale up slightly, all the way up to 20%, which is a small little buff, but with isolytic, a little goes a long way, because then you start getting into the other multipliers of hull breach and cascade and crit damage and those kinds of things. That can really, a little bit goes a long way. This one boosts your mitigation. Okay, so that's what the second tier is. If your opponent or has that particular status effect, your mitigation stats go up. That's going to make officers that boost your mitigation value a little less needed. You won't need to find a way to fit, Tom Paris below deck to boost your mitigation because you might have enough of it from this research. So as long as your Balana's good enough to apply hull breach, you don't need Tom Paris there with her because you've got this leveled up and you're getting, enough extra mitigation to do the difference. And then over here, reduces there. All right, so over here we've got a third ability. So if you put hull breach on your opponent, you lower their critical damage. Okay, I'm guessing this is the same way. Oh no, it's different. Okay. So this one's different, doesn't work during station defense. This one seems a little weird, but you throw a hull breach on them, their critical damage goes down. Okay. If you've got morale, you're getting extra shield health repaired. Interesting. And this one over here is boosting your weapon damage if the opponent is burning. So in addition to burning them and doing damage, now you're doing more weapon damage to them as well. This is very similar. This is what Nero's ability, I think, is kind of the same thing. But these numbers are drastically higher than what Nero was. So, okay, that's not bad. And obviously these things where it says, opponent, it's applying to both PvE and PvP and armadas and invasions, and it's just anything you're fighting against. It's kind of a universal benefit. So some are certainly better than others in here. So and we've got some stuff to do here. I would probably start with this one, just because I use a Sanctus, so I'm using an interceptor with hull breach most of the time. So I would probably start with that one. But first, I do want to just take a quick peek at the event calendar here, just to see what events we've got. So these are all kill hostiles, kill hostiles, kill hostiles. Spend materials to recruit officers. There's a syndicate advancement event. Oh, the syndicate events are actually on the calendar this month. They'll be next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and the following week. So the syndicate events are actually on the calendar this month, so you can plan ahead. Make sure you got your cooldowns lined up right. Use your time to upgrade your Mantis if you haven't tiered it up yet or whatever, to make sure you're ready to go by these dates. Good to know. Spend your directives. We've got a Forbidden Tech upgrade event coming this weekend. We've got a Temporal Artifact event next week. This is the one for spending Fleet Commander stuff. This is the one to just spend for building parts. I don't see any type of event on the calendar regarding spending the research particles. This is Echoes of War. This is all Armada stuff. FKR, Zindi, the new G6 FKRs. And then you've got your traditional ticketed events, which don't seem to be any different than what we've seen previously. So I guess we can go ahead and use these materials here. I would probably start with isolytic damage here. Oops. Do a test to see if it works. I mean, all right. Well, let's see. What did I kill earlier? I killed some freebooters. Didn't even care what crew I had. That's kind of what we're looking at there. Okay, so let's go ahead. And let's do, I don't like that it brings you in on an ability instead of just bringing you into the tree. It brings you in on an ability like, hey, do you want to start this one? Go ahead. All right, so we're going to boost our isolytic damage if they have hull breach. That's a 5% bump. Increases all base mitigation stats. Well, let's just start there. Let's just start with the 5% bump. And we're just going to take the same ship with the same crew and just go right back and kill the same hostiles. So that way, let's see what happens here. SKZ, unless you missed it, still no idea how they're going to schedule the FOT2 Cray events. It's supposed to be twice a month is what they've announced. Now, whether it's going to be every 2 weeks or the middle of the month and the end of the month, and they'll do one during the arc and then they'll do the other one at the end of the arc in the week in between. That we don't know for sure, but we do know it's supposed to run twice a month from Hammy's previous announcement last week when they gave us an extra one. We did get 3 last month because we got an extra one because Incursions was broken again, and they, wanted to make us feel better about Incursions not working, so they gave us an extra Invasion instead. Oh, and because the Alliance tournament also didn't work right, yes. So for those mistakes, in place of them, we got an extra Invasion event. Well, everything is always subject to change, right? We're telling you this is what we're going to do, but of course we reserve the right to change the calendar at any time with no prior notice given. So, why would someone put a guarantee on a box? All you've really got is a guaranteed piece of crap. My camera moved? No, I just moved. I tend to do that from time to time. I tend to just, it's a swivel chair, so I can kind of move around. So my back was hurting a little bit, and I decided to just lean the other way. Okay, so this is what we did previously. We were doing, hey, Balana applied the hull breach. We did about, 19, let's just take a little screenshot. Just move this off to the side for a minute. And that was against one of the interceptor types. Okay. Did I kill any of them the second time? Of course not. Of course not. God. Let's just go kill 2 or 3 of these guys. Again, just want to be consistent. I don't want to be like, well, you got extra bonuses that apply if you're on an interceptor fighting a battleship, so that's why that number went up. And it's like, look, we said we were going to compare these things, so let's go Interceptor to interceptor, just like we did last time. B'Elanna applied hull breach, just like she's supposed to. Well, those are criticals, so that's... There we go. Well, that's the second gun, which is weaker. And those are also criticals. And, of course, this time, B'Elanna did not trigger. And she didn't trigger again in round 2. Son of a... Well, there she's triggering in round 3, but by that point in time, it's all criticals. Alright, maybe I can find where she did some critical hits. Okay, so there we've got... This is the first weapon. This is the second weapon. This is weapon number 2 that's doing criticals. Right. This is weapon number 1. This is weapon number 2. Well, even that critical shot right there suddenly seems to be way higher, but that's both in base and critical damage. But even just looking at the scale between them, percentage-wise, it looks a little bit better this time around. So if we say... So this did isolytic damage that was 82% of what I hit for there. And if I go... Well, that's 93%. So a 5% upgrade to my base isolytic damage actually resulted in a 11% output in terms of more overall isolytic damage because of Janeway and her cascading ability and stuff. And Data as well, and his cascade damage. So I'm getting a slight increase in an uptick, which then gets multiplied by all of these other things that ends up creating a more significant impact. All right, well, those buffs do seem like they have some value then. But obviously, there could be power scaling and things like that. I don't know if I have Chapel on board right now. Probably not, because I only have 3 officer slots. But you're right, Chapel would obviously also impact that too, so... Shaitan says B'Elanna cannot trigger. Yeah, if you don't have her maxed, she's only tier 4. Yeah, she's only 60% then, and sometimes she doesn't work. Rucker wants to know what happened to the War Room. Yeah, they haven't run one of those in a few weeks too. I think they were having, again, because it's more of a PvP event and they're having issues with lag and latency and things like that, they kind of postponed doing any War Room type events. I'm sure they intend on bringing it back, but it'll obviously be a little bit down the road, so. Badwolf wants to know, are these new officers from a Star Trek show I have not seen? I don't know where they came from. Maybe we can Google them and find out. GP wants to know if I'm miffed about the ISS Enterprise. There was a nice little, you missed the first 40 minutes or so of the stream where we went through that topic quite extensively. Short version is, yes. It got better, but, you know, it's the perfect compromise because neither side is happy. They're all just brand new people that they just made up. people from the art department. I mean, it could be, right? This is like, if you, wasn't there like a whole thing where you could just scramble your name and that's how you created like your Jedi name or what street you lived on, or they very well could be an anagram for, this is like Randy Johnson. I don't know. But these could obviously be all people who they just did a random name generator on. Oh, don't worry, Shaitan. I knew where you were going with that. I'm just choosing to take the high road, which is unusual for me. So I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be at least somewhat decent today. All right, so I got to finish up domination here, which is easy enough to do. Obviously, here's the upgrade the building one, which unless you are buying a pack, you're not going to hit any of these milestones to get the Picard shards. So you'd have to buy an upgrade pack, and I'm not even sure how many you would have to buy to get this. Does one get you far enough? I don't know. I'm not buying it, so I'm not worried about it. There is an SLB, though, that's giving out just basic materials. Get yourself some crystal and titanium. You can also continue upgrading any building if you want. Mission key hunter, go to the web store. Oh yes, the web store. That's the other thing that I guess we can do, because there's a code too, isn't there? There's a redemption code. I want to say it's Renegade for me. There's 2 codes, right? Oh, I have to sign in. Son of a biscuit. Okay, so there are 2 codes. If you're Ops 40 plus or 35 plus or something, it's Renegade, so that should be most of the people. Let's go find the actual launch. No, is it in the patch notes? I think from. Yeah, so you get 5 shards of the new officer. There we go. Promo codes. So if you didn't see this in the patch notes, if you are Ops 10 through 29, you use code ROGUE. You get 5 Epic Her shards plus Syndicate points. If you are Ops 30 plus, you use code RENEGADE. You get 5 of the new Epic Officer shards, as well as the Nova Squadron building material. They give you 100 of them, which I don't think is enough for me to get another level out of. No, I need 400, so not enough to get another level out of, but I guess that gets me a little closer. And then while you're there, you can claim your mission keys, because we're doing this thing again, and they actually started on Tuesday this time and not Wednesday. Your Alliance milestone has Riker, Troy, and a couple of data shards in it, so I expect people to at least get through the first few levels of it if they don't finish it all the way, but at least get the data shards, because those are always helpful. And the SMS in here only has Riker and Troy. I mean, both are decent officers, but I don't know that I would call them like a must-have kind of thing. But, certainly make sure you help your Alliance mates out, because they might need some of these officers, and getting a few extra shards could be helpful. So while I'm in here, let me make sure to claim them on my alt account as well as redeem my web store code, Renegade. And then I will claim my gifts here in the gift tab. Willie says, I thought they were going to have better brackets for SLBs based on feedback. The Fleet Commander one is 51 to 70. It is, but this is also one that you're limited in, right? Actually, you're sort of at a disadvantage. We were covering this earlier. The higher you are, the more disadvantaged you probably are to a degree in this event because you've probably have already done a lot of upgrading to your fleet commanders. And since it's not like a generic thing where you can just like buy more fleet commanders or find more places to put materials, there's only a handful of officers. I mean, yes, you could buy Lorca and just start investing in him, I guess. But if you've already done all your other ones, you have less places to put skill points. Whereas your level 53, 54 players uh, might have a lot more skills still left to unlock and upgrade. So it's not as drastic of an advantage being a higher level in this one as it is in some of the like the material spend events. The way the points are scaled, G6 has a huge advantage over G5. This one is a little more of an even playing field. So, want Lorca, but waiting until they make the 5th seat available. They will be selling a 5th seat as well. Yes. If you buy 20 Lorca point packs, you win. So you'd spend $2,000 upgrading Lorca, so you could win 800 premium recruit dust, which is less than you would get for $100 if they were selling it. Because usually, I mean, when they sell these packs, you usually get like over 1,000, if not 2,000 or 3,000 for your $100 pack. Now they don't necessarily sell these on a regular basis, so people have no choice but to invest in these events if they want to continue advancing their premium research. So I think I covered all of the new stuff. Did I forget anything? Is there anything that I missed? Oh, field training. Right, that screw up. Yeah, so as usual, they tried to fix something to make it better and actually just broke it altogether. So if you haven't done any of your field trainings, well, or haven't finished some of them, and we're working on them, and we're getting close to any of them, well, they're temporarily offline. They hope to be bringing them back tomorrow. We'll see if that happens or not. But essentially, what they were trying to do with field training is make some of them like easier to complete because they were kind of assigning some of them are like, especially some of the earlier ones, the ones where you have to like acquire Spock shards and build the Orion Corvette and things like that. Um, they were kind of putting like an ops counter on them and saying, hey, you should have all of these done by like the time you get to ops 20. And if you don't, well, then when you just get to ops 20, we'll just auto complete them for you, the ones you didn't do. Because we're not going to have you keep wasting time doing old, outdated content just for the rewards when we obviously want you to keep moving forward and leveling up faster. So that was the fix that they were putting in to try and make it better, and in doing so, they broke the whole damn system. But they think they know what they did wrong, and they think they can be fixing it tomorrow. TBD. Is that the Boldly Go events? Let's see. Is that what they were talking about there? Let's go back to the web store. What do we got here? Nope, Boldly Go is New type of event that rewards players based on their participation in daily activities. Each run of the event will have a scheduled runtime of X days. The Boldly Go event will consist of tasks and objectives that are available per daily login and completion. For example, things like, yes, operations progression or mission completion. Log in for X number of days consecutively to claim these rewards and things and get points. And then by completing the points, you'll get different milestones and things unlocked. So this looks like a combination of doing your dailies and kind of like a field training mechanic. Completing these events will allow you to receive milestone points and rewards. Milestone points allow you to unlock milestone rewards, and the rewards increase with daily participation. So again, you're getting additional officers, shards, and sourcing. Seems like a lot of this stuff is newer players, yes, aimed for newer players to assist with in-game progression, but those in higher operations may see these in the near future for an added bonus of rewards. Keep an eye out for how you can earn additional in-game rewards. So, I almost clicked that, thinking it was on my screen. Um, Additional in-game rewards, kind of just like another little path to get people to keep coming back, keep logging in, keep doing your dailies. A lot of games have these type of metrics, right? Daily sign-in bonuses and things like, oh, you've been signed in for 20 consecutive days, you get this prize. This is day number 21, you get this prize. Keep people coming back, right? Get them hooked, get them playing the game every day. Make sure that it's not just like, oh yeah, I logged in, I did this one little thing and I'm done. It's like, no. There's stuff you need to do like every day. Keep coming back. See, you're getting more stuff. The more you come back, the more stuff you get. So, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gesley or Giselle, thank you for being here. Renegade is for level 30 plus. If you are lower, if you're level 10 through 29, the web store code is Rogue, and that will get you some free stuff if you're 10 through 29. Sean, also first time chatter, welcome on in. Finally finished spaceship field training last night, couldn't claim the rewards. That's unfortunate. Because again, for newer players, a lot of those rewards are actually fairly decent. They kind of give you a little bit of a boost, whether it's some speed ups or officer shards or something like that. That might help you. I mean, like, you get half a pike unlocked in one of them, and you get all of them a row. So being able to do some of those field trainings early on in the game when you're level 10, 15, 20 can definitely help with your growth. But apparently it is just like a temporary thing that they just had to turn off for a day or two so they could just, fix some things that they didn't intend to not work properly. And then they can bring it back with all kinds of gusto and fanfare. Hey guys, we fixed it. Well, yeah, but you also broke it, so you don't get a round of applause for fixing things that you break. It's like, sorry, Mom, I smashed your lamp, but I glued it back together. Oh, okay. Well, fantastic job gluing that lamp back together, son. Mm-mm. Nope, not going to happen. Samo's totally happy to just claim free rewards, though. I mean, if there's some stuff that we haven't done, eventually they'll be adding, I think, for higher level players, but I'm sure for right now it's probably only intended for people who are like level 10 through 29 or 1 through 29. If you're above that level range, you're probably not going to see this stuff just yet. Maybe they'll expand it later. But I mean, those people have enough loops to do, right? They don't need more stuff to do. They're already complaining they spend too much time in the game. Sean, you're level 54. You just finally went back and did the Orion Corvette one because you were so bored. Okay. There you go. Um, what did I want to take a look at? Yeah, where are we on this? 85 million to go. That'll probably happen tomorrow. Definitely by Thursday. I should have Klingon locked at 15 billion. Woohoo! Then we only got to do left is just feds. Go back and grind it out, and then we done. Oh, I didn't do my Q trials. All right, let's go do that real fast. Field training's broken, Brett. That's in the announcement that they made. They broke it trying to enhance it and add new stuff to it, but they hope it'll be back tomorrow. So it's not just you and it's not just your particular device. The whole field training system is broken and taken offline. Lex says 85 million is just 10 minutes in the MU with exocomps. Probably. Lloyd said you got your ROM up to foot soldier. Nice, making good progress. It bothers me that the font for foot soldier is different. Does it bother anybody else, or is it just, you know, me being a little crazy there? But when you come in here and you see that these are all capitals, and then you see this little foot soldier here that's mostly lowercase, it's like, why? This is the stupidest thing to proofread and make it match everything else. Why is it lowercase? It's such a stupid term. Well, I wasn't even sure it was a real term because it seemed like it just sort of popped up with the invasion thing, and I thought, okay, well maybe it's because the Saurus and his invasion teamed up with the Klingons, so maybe the Klingons are considered foot soldiers. But obviously, if people in other factions are getting that same milestone marker too, then it's not exactly anything unique and special. So you got 1.7 billion with all those bonuses. You're also probably hitting things that are going to be bigger than what I could hit too. So mm-hmm. But I mean, that's just like a day or two of dailies, which is all I really do. I don't do faction grinding. This is this is a day or two of dailies. Hell, I could even go. Let's do this. Away teams, Klingon reputation. What's that worth? There's 8 million. There we go. We'll take 8 million from that. Let's go in here to the Borg refinery. Klingon rep. Hey, there's 30 million. Let's just take that. We're already like halfway there. There we go. Now we're down to 47. I just got 40 million just right there. So now tomorrow's dailies and stuff should get me right over the rest of it. S31 store. I don't I don't do waves a lot. I just don't care enough. So I don't have extra materials of this to throw around on rep. But you're right, I could just go run a mirror wave and knock it out with that for sure. In the meantime, let's throw up a 1-day shield to get me through to tomorrow evening, so I don't have to worry about this. All right. Is there anything new content-wise that I forgot to talk about tonight that you guys would like me to touch on real quick? Is there a part 2 next month? No idea. They don't tell me those things. Probably. Seems like it's a more than a 1-part arc. Did I already? Yes, Brett. That was the first. That was in the first half hour or so of the stream. We talked about that, which you can go back and watch later when I'm done. There we go. Let's get some 5% more defense. Sure, why not? The fact they're calling this part 1, yeah, would make it make sense that there's a part 2 and potentially a part 3. Hey, 7 more million for doing my daily. Look at that. Now I don't even... What are we down to? 40 million. Less than 40 million to go. Piece of cake. Then again, this is Scopely. Well, that's true too, I guess. The new artifacts. They did add a couple new artifacts. That's true. They did. They did add a couple of new artifacts down here. Building construction speed. Actually, I'll just do this. We got base construction speed for buildings, which there's already a lot of stuff that goes into it. Research cost efficiency, but only for specific materials. So this is stuff that's helping with Voyager, the Titan, the Cerritos, the Monavine. I think is what most of this research is based around. So you're making them a little cheaper. This one's a cargo boost. Okay, great. We've already, it's for all your ships, but I mean, there's already so much that adds to max cargo size that that's going to have some drastic diminishing returns on it. We got these 3. This is Apex, so these are probably all going to be specific, right? Apex barrier when you have morale, Apex barrier when they have hull breach, Apex barrier when the ship is burning. So we got little bits of benefits there. And then the other new ones would be the gateway, the portal. No, those are old. It's the Glavin and the tricorder, I think, are the 2 new ones that we got. Isolytic damage here, and then this is cost efficiency for buildings, lowering basic and sigma materials from 4 to 6-star materials. So, isolytic damage boost, sure, we like that. We just saw how having a little bit of an impact on that research, a small little boost to isolytic damage, when you start applying all the other multipliers between, you know, hull breach and crits and cascade, really a little goes a long way. This one now has the opportunity to give you even more of that. So again, really just power creeping the damage up. And then this one here to give, I mean, all players a little bit of relief in terms of spending materials to upgrade buildings. But I think it may have more of an impact for the players moving into G6. I mean, it'll help all the G6 players, of course, but I think the ones who see a lot of the sticker shock when they first get to G6 and how expensive and how long everything takes and sourcing some of that Sigma stuff, this will give them a little bit more of a relief and make that transition not as drastic. So I think that's what we got. That's what's coming in here. Obviously, we do have events later this month for upgrading artifacts and things. So don't spend your artifact materials. Don't spend your temporal stuff. Don't really do anything with this stuff yet. Obviously, just keep collecting it as you get it to your daily turn-ins to make sure you're sourcing stuff. Go to your refinery and do your isomatter refinery pull here, which I have to go do because I don't have any more Gorn stuff. And yeah, how do I have so many artifacts on lock? Formation armadas, opening artifact packs, time just playing the game, so that way you can do the temporal artifact turn-ins from your daily 5-star claim here for doing your silent hostiles. This gets you more of the disruptors. So then you can come in here and do more of your claims, or just, dump it all into your Great Eye, which then makes all the other ones a little cheaper. So you can start getting stuff going there. Obviously, some of your Voyager mechanics and stuff source some things for you. I've been playing the game for 5 years. You've been playing the game a lot less time, so uh, so many things in this game are they're time gated, and the only way around the time gate is with cash, and you'll go broke if you buy all the things that they want you to buy. I hope you enjoy playing the game in your car because that's where you're going to be living. No, I don't know about that. You could be sitting on a small fortune. They'll happily help you spend it though. I can collect my artifact box right now. Yeah, I don't want to do that because you get points for doing those turn-ins. This one, the restoration one, I could do a 3,000. I could do a 3,000 because that'll be up again by the time the event happens, and I'll just do another 3,000 in a van down by the river. That's absolutely right. That's where I was going with that. But Strawn's got a guy in your alliance who got Lorca at tier 15, level 70. Lorca's ability lasts 52 seconds and is a 12-hour cooldown. I think we were talking earlier that the max currently was, Nevin said earlier, it was a 67-second ability, and it had a 8-hour cooldown. I think it was what the values were at the maximum. Again, they might tweak those later, they might enhance them later, but that's kind of where it is now. It's basically something you're going to use once or twice a day for something you're stuck on, right? Can't beat a Q's trial, or you have to, you don't want to have to keep using max fortification to do your Q trials every day. Well, there you go. You can use Lorca and hope that they spawn in the same systems to do your Q's trials. Or you can do 2 solo armadas if you time it right. So Did I have a good long weekend? I did. It it really threw me off though. It always throws off my schedule because, when I'm hanging around the house on like a Monday afternoon, it doesn't feel like a Monday, it feels like a Sunday. And then it kind of just throws me all off with everything I should be doing and, you know, it's like, wait a minute. It's not Sunday night, it's Monday night. Ah, crap. I'm supposed to be doing something. Whoops. But yeah, it was good. Mrs. and I chopped away at a couple little projects around the house and spent some quality time together, and I enjoyed a little extra sleep, which is always a benefit, which I gave right back last night by staying up till 12:30, hanging out with the Warp Drive 5 crew on their Arc launch stream. Well, it's Tuesday now. Yes. Hi, Stevens Aaron. First time being here? Well, I'm glad you're here now. Where you been for 2 years, buddy? Where you been? No, I'm just teasing. Wednesday. Well, yes, on that side of the world, yes, it is already Wednesday. And here we'll be here soon too, so Arcfall is always a wild night, that's for sure. I'm also a sucker for word puzzle games, so the fact that Dr. Iron Chef had that going, I got lost just trying to guess words and things and figure that game out. And before I knew it, it was like, oh, it's 12:30. Whoops. So, Lex points out that Lorca's ability is good for mission hostiles you can't kill. There you go. Get yourself a quick 2,000% damage bonus or whatever you happen to scale it up to, and go take on some of them gold mission bosses that you might be stuck on. Sure. Oh yeah, it's all kinds of fun. I think people were actually mad at him at one point because he left the map up of where he's traveling on all these different places. We're like, dude, you showed us already. Take the map down so we can get back to the word game. Wet Coaster's wondering, is there a known problem with the redemption codes? I just used mine a minute ago. It worked for me. What problem are you having with said code? And which one were you trying to use? Word game greater than STFC? Sure. We were definitely having more fun with that. We didn't talk about Star Trek Fleet Command. I was there for 90 minutes. We talked about Star Trek Fleet Command for a very short period of time of that 90 minutes. And we talked about so many other things, from barbecue in Memphis and being in Uber drivers being on strike and all kinds of other fun experiences. Everywhere Dr. Iron Chef is traveling the next few weeks. Rogue invalid code at Ops 34. Yes, that code is Renegade is the code you want to use. Wet Coaster. The Rogue code only goes up through Ops 29. 30 plus is the other code. Do I consider myself more of a Rogue or a Renegade? What's the distinction between the two of them? I guess that's the question. Like, because they're both very similar. You would say that they're almost synonyms, but where's the slight difference between where you're a rogue versus where you're a renegade? In one of them, you're Jin Urso. In the other one, you're Lorenzo Lamas. What? No. Renegades need a shower. Rogues are a little more dashing. Oh, okay. Well, um, no, I'm pretty good. So I guess we'll go with we'll go with Rogue then. I guess today. What's the code to unlock the Whale Discord server? It's called Cash. Try Visa. Visa. I think that might work. Renegade is more like Batman. Rogue is more like Deadpool. I would have to say I'm probably a little more Deadpoolish than Batmanish. Renegades have a purpose. Rogues are without. Ooh, that's an interesting distinction. I like that one. Renegade gives you an invalid code as well. And you're sure you didn't already claim it? That's interesting. Let's go take a look at what was in the patch notes again. Yeah, players ops 30 plus should use code Renegade, and you'll get 5 shards. Rogue is only for lower level players. Log out, log back in. That could also work. Log out of the web store, log back in, try again. And obviously, yes, make sure you're spelling it correctly. But, all right then. Well, let's take a look as we wrap things up for the night. Who else is hanging out and around? It looks quiet. Obviously, DJ was up at 4 a.m. streaming this morning. Rev was on this afternoon. Samo, are you streaming tonight? Are you still here? Iron Chef streamed last night. Lube was on earlier today. I didn't give her a 5-minute warning. I know sometimes she needs a 5-minute warning to make sure she's got her hair right and teeth brushed and no food stuck between them. You are streaming, but DJ's actually said he's coming on as well. Well, I mean, it's DJ time, so who knows what that means. He might be asleep right now. Didn't he break his computer too? Didn't or something in the studio? All right. Well, then everyone, keep your eyes open for if you're not already following, but you should be. But if you're not already, follow Major Samo. Make sure you turn on your notifications so when she does go live, whenever DJ does or doesn't finish up his stream tonight, tomorrow, whenever it happens to be, you can make sure to jump into her stream and hear her thoughts about all of the new content that was released or changed and rechanged and changed back today. I guess eventually DJ may be on as well, but thank you all incredibly much for hanging out this evening, spending some quality time with me, going through all this fun ARC stuff. I appreciate you all being here. I look forward to seeing you back on my next stream Thursday evening. If I don't, see you around the galaxy first. Take it easy, everybody.